How you doing, everybody? It's Sid from Sid Chase Group, bringing you this little tidbit of information today from Sid Chase Capital Investments. Hey guys, what we want to talk about today is collateral or loans and what type of collateral you may need for different types of loans. A lot of people believe that they're not even sure what collateral is, right? So really collateral is something that you own that has a cash value. So for example, let's say you own a car and it's a 1964 Corvette, right? And you own it outright. That has value, right? So that could be collateral. If you don't pay, we'll cover that later. Okay, so that's collateral, that's value. Okay, and what they want you to do is they want that as something to be secure the loan until you've started paying that back. Then what happens after a while, after you've done a few of these, the bank now becomes familiar with you, trusts you, and realizes that you're paying back the note. And what they'll do is they'll get to a point where they'll ask for less and less of the collateral value to secure the loan, right? So I can remember when I first got started, I didn't even have a credit card, and so I had to put up $500 in cash to get a $500 credit card. Now, just so you folks know, that was, let's just say 40 years ago or so, somewhere in that ballpark. So today, I don't have to put up a whole lot of collateral depending on the size of the loan I want to take. Sometimes I have to personalize the loan, which means I'm totally 100% responsible for the loan. And then there's sometimes when I can take loans out that it's not a personal guarantee. Okay, so it all depends on what I'm looking for. When I'm out looking for a business loan, for example, say $1.5 million to do a development, as an investor, they want to have a little bit of security, so they take the land into consideration. They may want me to put down some money on top of that, right? And then they want to know, what am I doing with it? So in our case, because we own Chase Signature Homes, so we have a building arm of the company, so we go out and build houses on them through Chase, right? So the bank looks at me as really a favorable person to loan money to, because not only do they have all the collateral, but I've also been in business and I've been building homes. Plus, it did help that our company just won the best home building company in the Grand Strand for 2019 WMBF News. That's pretty good, right? So anyways, next, common types of collateral. I kind of went over that a little bit there with you, but there's personal real estate could do it. There's home equity. There's personal vehicles, as we covered. Your paycheck could be one. Cash or savings accounts, investment accounts, paper investments that you might have, like notes and or liens on properties. I don't know. That'll be another subject. But for those of you who don't like to own real estate, for example, you could, when I mean own it, I mean like physically own it, like a piece of gold or a piece of silver. You could do paper investments, which are notes or tax liens. I actually got started out in tax liens. My first tax lien was in Colorado, and if I remember correctly, Colorado, I think it was a 12% return, something like that. That was many years ago. So there's those types. Such valuables as fine art, jewelry, and collectibles, right? Now those can be questionable. The fine art would probably be the best out of those three categories. But again, it depends on what type of art you have, and most of us at the level that we're at, we're not fine art connoisseurs, and maybe we don't have $30,000 worth of jewelry laying around. But if you're my wife, that I've been married to for 30 years, you have all that jewelry and stuff and never wear it, so I might as well use it, right, as collateral. Hopefully she doesn't see this video. Business loans. So you have blanket liens, you have business or personal real estate, home equity, business property like machinery, specialized equipment. So let's say you own a manufacturing company and you own all this equipment, or you own a clearing company, and you have all the bulldozers and backhoes and all of that kind of stuff. All of that can be used for, if you're looking for a business loan, as collateral. Business or personal vehicle could be used. Farm assets and the products from the farm could be used as collateral. For example, you could go to PayPal and let's say you own let's say you own 6 Subways, for example, and you want to start a 7th one. So you want to go to PayPal, for example. You go to PayPal. I'm not saying do this. I'm just saying you could go to PayPal and say, hey, here's my receivables that I'm going to be getting in, yada, 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 and I want to get a loan of X amount of dollars against that going forward. So that's something you could do. You can also do that with your farm, right, on the product or the corn or whatever it is you're planting, right? Accounts receivable, I just talked about that, and obviously your inventory. So maybe you own a jewelry store and you have lots of inventory, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or probably even millions of dollars worth of inventory. And depending on if you own it or not, you could use that also. So for like auto loans, there's the vehicle you're purchasing. So when most of you have probably done this. You go down, you buy a car. The reason they're giving you the loan, one is because you have some type of good credit. 2 is you have a paycheck, so you've proven that yes, you're responsible. I'm working. The longer you're working, the easier it is to get the loan. And then they use the vehicle as collateral too, but not a lot, because in the beginning, especially if you're buying a new one, as soon as you drive off this, the out of the parking lot, 20% drop, right? So I have a tendency usually of buying cars that are 2 to 3 years after they're new, and I also have a tendency of buying antique collectible cars because they normally, most of the time, don't lose their value at all, and you can use those as collateral. Reasons to get a collateral loan. There's a few of them. Maybe you don't have good credit, you already have a lot of debt, own available asset or assets. Like sometimes, I've been saving and piling up silver, for years and years. I buy it, pile it up, sell it. Sometimes I'll use that silver, because it's physical silver that I'm buying. I'll use that. I'll go to the bank and, hey, it's silver. They'll take it, and they'll use it as collateral. So when you buy silver bars, for example, and let's say you buy, let's just say you buy 1,000 of them, and you got $15,000. The current price is like $15 and some change right now. So let's say you got $15,000 invested into your silver bars. You bought 1,000 ounces of them, so you have $15,000 invested, right? And you own it. It's not like you took a payment out on it. You paid for it. It's yours, and it's at the bank's safe deposit box or wherever you're keeping it. I guarantee you, if you do a loan and they want it as collateral, it's going to stay at the bank's deposit box. But the point I'm getting at is, one, it's a good thing to have the silver, right? Because you never know what the economy is going to do. So you always want to have a little bit of silver and gold laying around, number one. But while it's sitting there laying around, it's not really doing anything for you, right? It only makes money if it goes up. Right? So you're sitting on it. Okay, well, what do I teach everybody? Keep your money moving. Make it work for you, right? So a lot of people say, oh, silver and gold are dead money. No, not really, right? Use it to get a secured loan. That's all you. That's what you do. That's what I do, right? Okay, the next one would be, let's see, benefits of collateral loans. Increases the chance of your approval. Normally you can get a lower interest rate, and it allows you some negotiating room, more wiggle room in there, right? So some of the cons of collateral loans is, if you put up that 1964 Corvette and you don't pay it back, adios 1964 Corvette. I would just cry. I would just cry for a very long time. Overspending, okay, that's a problem, and that's another con of collateral loans. And then the long terms from them, right? So you want to keep whatever loan you get, you want to keep it as short as possible. Now I know, the old saying is, oh, I'm going to take it for 6 years, my car loan, but I'm going to pay it down in 3. I'm going to make those double payments 3 or 4 times a year, whatever that works out to be, and I'm going to get it down. But I just in case I have an issue, I want that $200 payment, right? Well, guess what, folks? Most of us do not do that. You take it for the whole 6 years, you do the $200, your collateral's tied up for that whole period of time, and you've paid all that extra interest. Now, had you borrowed the money from yourself, which is a whole nother video on affinity banking or family office banking, which we will cover, and we've had covered some of this before, which is one of my favorite topics besides talking real estate. We'll get into that again too. And anyway, so that's just some of the things about loans, collateralizing them or not collateralizing them. What is collateral? What isn't collateral? How do they decide the value of your collateral, and so on and so forth. So I hope that helped. If not, I don't know what to tell you. You're in big trouble. I'm just busting your chops, guys. Hey, questions, leave them at the bottom as always, or email us at invest@sidchase.com. Be happy to do a 20-minute conference with you, and I'll answer any of your questions. I don't charge for that, the first one at all. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Check us out at sidchase.com, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Appreciate it.